kindergartners, to do the F, Father Francis, we're going to need a lot of pretty specific colors. We're going to need brown because Father Francis wore like rough, old brown clothes. I'm going to be using black for his hair because he was from the part of the world where people have black hair. And for the wolf, we're going to need kind of a grayish color. I'm going to actually use the black and the brown and the gray all mixed together, but I'll be starting with my gray. And of course, while I'll be starting with my gray, what I'm really going to start with is the border, which I bet you guys know you could probably just do a border ahead of time even before the video starts, couldn't you? Because we've done a lot of letters now. Made a lot of these pictures. Here I am in my corner. I'm just going to color one direction so my paper doesn't curl up on me. And around the corner here. Now, a lot of this is going to be pretty basic here. We're going to make the F. We're going to add a head on top, just like we did for the Lavender Lady and for the Prince. But then, we're going to be drawing the Wolf of Gubbio. And so the Wolf of Gubbio, make sure you just go step by step with me, and it shouldn't be too bad. Here I am in another corner. I'll go. There we go. Just one direction and then turn around my corner. So for the Wolf of Gubbio, we're going to be making a whole bunch of ovals and then adding them in together. You guys did great drawing the turkey today in school, and so I think making the wolf won't be a whole lot more challenging than that. We'll just kind of be coloring it in a little bit more. Alright, I'm starting down my second side here. And I noticed my color came out a little bit. Where I'm working, I kind of have a little bump right there on my desk that I have to kind of work around. So I'm going to move over just a bit here and see if that'll make it easier for my hand to move. Alright, I'm kind of taking long strokes up and down here, but can you see how I'm trying to make sure also that I don't leave gaps? So while I'm going up and down a long ways, I'm also making sure that I get all those spaces filled in. And I notice right here I kind of have a little bumpy spot, so I'll fill that in. Alright. Down to another corner now. So again, I'll come down one direction so my paper doesn't wiggle around, and then go around the corner. Alright, I'm coming on across this way now. Again, kind of going long, but can you see, right here I can see I don't have color in there. So even though I'm taking long strokes, I'm still going to be making sure that I'm getting it all colored in. I'm not just scribbling back and forth. I'm making sure that I get color all in the places I need to have color. Alright. Back in my other corner. Now, of course, you might not be this far along, and that is fine. Because it's important to take time to make a nice border. It gets your brain all situated on the page. It makes it easier to get the rest of the picture in. And especially with the wolf today, you're going to want to kind of have your brain settled into the paper. Alright, I'm coming up here for my last bit, but when I finish my border, if you're not done, you don't need to rush to try to catch up with me, right? This isn't like in the classroom where things keep going. You can pause that video, finish up your lovely neat border, and then start the video again when you're ready to. So here I go, up this last part, back and forth, just making sure I get all my little bits filled in. Alright, there I am. Now, I'm going to switch to my brown to make the F, because this is going to be Father Francis's body. And his body was made up of the brown clothes he wore. Remember, we talked about this when we talked about the colors of the children of Israel that they show in the Bible books. Things like blue and red and green and purple, those were hard colors to get. Yellows and browns, those are kind of the normal colors that we see turning up in nature. So it wouldn't be very hard to have clothes that were just kind of brownish earth colored. So here I am. This is going to be his back right here. Alright. I'll go down a little farther because this is my big line down, right? And I always think of Francis, you know, he did a lot of stuff outside. Lots with animals, and so I think of him being someone who is pretty tall and strong. Alright, there's my big line down. Now I'm back up here at my top, and I'm going to do my little line across the top. Like so. And you can see I'm making sure that all my little white spaces get filled in. Alright, there's that big line. And I want to make sure I have some space down here for my wolf. Now, so about the middle is where I want my next, oh, not my big line, my little line. I want my next little line to be about in the middle. There it is. Now often we'll put shoes on these guys. You know, like for the prince we did. But Father Francis went barefoot most of the time. For his belt, he just had a rope. I'm going to go ahead and get some black and make kind of a, here's his belt with just a rope hanging down. Yeah. And then I suppose I'm going to put some feet on him, but I'm just going to use this mix of colors to make it look kind of barefoot. I don't want too light a skin tone, because if he's outside all the time, his skin's going to be kind of dark. Alright, there's his feet. Just a little bit, right, because we don't want to make an E. Now I'm going to go up here, and like we've done before, I'm going to add kind of an oval, and I'm going to put it up a bit here, because these are going to be his arms. So, here we go, and I'm going to add in now some brown to make it more of a regular skin color, especially for somebody who's outside a lot. And then, like I said, the part of the world where Father Francis lived, people tend to have pretty dark colored hair. So I'm going to get the black again here to do his hair. Alright, now remember he was a friend to animals, and we told the story of the wolf of Gubbio. But there are lots of stories of Father Francis being friends with birds. So I'm going to use a blue to make a bird. You can choose a different bird color if you want to. But I'm going to use my blue. And right here, I'm going to put a little bird on his hand. So we've done birds before. Just do kind of, do you see there's kind of a wide U, or maybe a smile. And then the top is going to be kind of the other part of the smile. There it is, a little tail out that way. And I imagine my bird is kind of looking at Francis and singing. So I'll add a little head up here to be looking at him. There's the bird. Now, one of the things he was known for also was having some little seeds and things to feed the birds, or to, you know, for the wolf, he gave him some food. So I'm going to put a dish here, and maybe I'll do it in black so that it stands out a little better on his hand. And this is going to be a lot like the shape of the bird, right? Except where I curve the top of the bird a little bit, I'll go a little bit straighter across here with the dish. Like that. And then color in the rest of it. Here's my dish. And before I get to the wolf, I'm going to look here, and I see Francis, and I kind of think, I think his face needs to come out a little bit more. I want him to have a little bit rounder face. You don't have to do that, but I think that's what I want for Francis. And I was mixing my colors, so I want to make sure I get both colors in here. There we go. I like that a little bit better. Alright, now the wolf. I'm going to end up adding colors in, because you know in nature most things are not just one color. But I'm going to start with gray, because that's going to be kind of the foundation of the wolf, and then I'll put in some bits of brown and black. So I'm going to start with the haunches of the wolf, kind of like the top of its back legs, and I'm going to be making the wolf sitting. So here is going to be kind of like his bottom and his hips. You know, if you see a dog sitting, they kind of have this roundy spot back here. And their feet will come out here and tail here. So there's that. And then I'm going to put some shoulders up here on this wolf. Now, a little smaller than the hips, but wolves are strong. So he's still got some good shoulder muscles. So can you see I have these two ovals, And the bottom one is a little bit bigger. Alright. And then the head on a wolf is kind of going to be right above the shoulders. So I'm going to make another sort of oval here for his head, up above the shoulders, maybe just a little bit bigger than the shoulders. You know, a wolf is a pretty big animal. Alright. So now I'm going to make his legs coming down from his shoulders. Right? His front paws here. Coming down. There's his big furry paw. And then I'm going to have some back legs coming out here. There we go. And then I'm going to join in the rest of his body right here. So a little bit of a belly. And his back here. There we go. And wolves have these nice big bushy tails. So, coming off from here, he needs a tail. And I kind of imagine his tail like being up and happy and wagging because he's with Francis and he likes his friend Francis. There we go. Alright, now I'm going to add in his neck. And a wolf is going to have a pretty strong neck. So it's going to be kind of thick here, his neck. Blend that back in with his back a little more. You know, every now and then just kind of pause and look at your wolves and see what you think. Alright, I'm going to make his ears kind of pricked forward here, like he's wanting to pay attention to Francis. And then he's going to need a nice strong snout, right? So let's see here. I think my wolf is turning out to look a little bit like a fox, but that's alright. They're related. They're both some kind of dogs. Alright, now when I look at him, he looks kind of skinny to me. Does he look kind of skinny to you? I'm going to put a little bit more muscle on him here. But I also remember he was really hungry. So maybe he was kind of skinny and hungry. And that's why he was trying to eat all the people of Gubbio. And I'll add a little bit more muscle in here. Alright, but if you want to leave your wolf, you know, skinny, that's fine. Alright. And you know what? I like to finish him off with a little black nose. There we go. Yeah, he kind of turned out like a fox. That's okay. I'm going to add some brown in here. Just kind of some swirls and streaks, because, you know, things in nature, they're kind of camouflaged. They're not usually one color all by themselves. Alright. There's my fox. And you know, what do I have left now? My background, except I think I want my fox to even have a fox. It's not even a fox. I'm calling it a fox. It's a wolf, except it kind of turned out like a fox. We're going to be drawing a fox later. It's going to look a lot like this. That's alright. I'm going to use blue, I think, for my background, and I just won't press quite as hard as I did up here on the bird, and so that way it'll show up as a different color bird. So I'm going to start around my bird, just to remind myself to be drawing kind of light colors. Alright, I'm going to add in here around his face and his arm. One hand for the bird, and one hand for the bowl. Alright, I'll go ahead on up to my border now here. I want to see it's getting a little scribbly, so I'm going to slow down just a little bit. Make sure I get all my white spots filled in up here. Alright, now one trick here with my blue and my gray around my wool can be that the colors are kind of similar, right? So I'm going to check. And if it starts to look like my blue and my gray are too close to the same color, I'm going to add some more brown on the wool to make sure that it looks different, or maybe some black. Do you see how that's really close? I don't want my wolf to get lost in my background. So I'll add a little more brown to his tail, and maybe even get some black here mixed in. So that it's a little easier to see the wool, and it's not just...
That kind of helps him look more shaggy too, right? Like a big furry wolf. I think I like him better with pointy ears, not such curvy ears. Alright. I'll add some black down his legs here. And then he'll stand out better from the background. Now, I've drawn this picture quite a few times, and I don't think I have ever managed to make my wolf look quite as much as a fox like I did this time. So, one of the things that I'll be doing, actually, is going and comparing this one to some of the other pictures I've made and try to see what I did differently this time. You know, great artists who do big art and they get paid or they get famous for it, most of them don't just sit down and draw something and then, you know, there it is. They do a lot of work leading up to it. If they're going to put a wolf in their painting, they're going to go and watch wolves at the zoo. They're going to draw wolves from a whole bunch of different angles, a whole bunch of different times. And so, that's kind of what I'm going to do here. I'm going to take this wolf picture and go look at some of my other wolf pictures and see what I did differently. I may decide that there are actually some things about this that I like better, and things I don't like as much. And I bet that when I compare this wolf picture with the other wolf pictures, it'll give me some good ideas for the fox picture. Alright. I'm going to go ahead and finish up in this corner, and then I'll go on to another section. And I'm going to go over things a little bit and smooth them out. You see how my color is kind of chunky and streaky? So I'm going to try to make that a little smoother here. And so I'm going over it some more. I'm not pushing really hard. I am going to go over it a little bit more to smooth it out. Alright, so how is yours coming? I know some students sometimes have tried to draw in. Remember we talked about how the town of Gubbio had a wall around it with gates? Some students have put in the wall and gates, even. Or drawn some of the people looking on the wall, looking down from the wall over at Francis, trying to make friends with the wolf. We're drawing some trees in, or some mountains in the background. We've put mountains in some of our pictures sometimes. Alright. I'm getting in between his arms here. Now, I don't know if you can hear, my crayon is sounding really loud to me right now. It's kind of keeping me company a little bit, I think. Alright, I'm slowing down here a little bit around the wolf, because already my blue and my gray are kind of squishing together. So I'm going to take my time and make sure I don't bump blue into my gray wolf. Alright. Here we go now, and here again, I'm going to take my time so that I don't get blue smooshed into the gray wolf. Adding the brown and the black is helping it stand out differently. Alright. Work around the back of the wolf here. Alright. Now, the next part I want to be careful with is his feet, right? Because I don't want to just scribble blue over his feet. And if you didn't do his feet, that's fine. I think the picture in the classroom, I didn't put feet. You can check the next time you're in. It's going to be a long time, isn't it? We're not going to be back at school on Monday. We're going to have a whole week not back at school. I bet you guys will do some reading. You might do some drawing even. And you might help with some baking. I know we like to do that. We're going to be making some pies for Thanksgiving dinner. Some other yummy things. Alright, now again, I feel like my colors here are a little chunky, so I'm going to go back through just a little bit and move it out. Kind of looks like it's raining. That's okay. Alright, I'm going to get this bottom part done, up here and around here. So it feels like kind of a lot, but these aren't very wide spots. So here's this. Now one thing I'll tell you. When we've done these in the classroom before, every now and then we have some nice wide crayons we can use for the background. That does help it to go a little bit faster. But since we're working on these at home, I'm sticking with these stick crayons just like what you have. And they definitely build up some stamina for that background, don't they? In fact, if it would help you, if you're all done with the details of your picture and you're just working on the background and it would help you, you could turn off the video and maybe turn on some music. I know some people kind of like to color while they're listening to music. I don't recommend doing it while you're trying to watch a movie, because you need your eyes to be looking at your picture, don't you? But I know some people like to listen to audiobooks, listen to books that somebody reads to them on a CD, or maybe just on the phone. Or some people like to listen to the radio, or a podcast. There are all sorts of interesting things to listen to that you can. But something I like to do sometimes, if the weather's nice, is actually to get a clipboard or a folder or something nice to color on and to take it outside. Especially when you're doing Father Francis, right? If there are birds singing, you could listen to the birds while you're coloring him. Alright, just up the side then, and around his head. And I'm taking big strokes back and forth, but can you see I'm being careful to make sure that I get all the white parts colored in. And I see some places where it looks like it's not colored very evenly, so I'm going to slow down, go back over those. Alright. It's kind of funny, as I do these, and I'm going big back and forth here, and my whole hand is going back and forth, I can feel my fingers rubbing on my crayon here. Because I put a lot of crayon wax, crayons are made of wax and color. I put a lot of wax onto those spots on the F to make it stand out a lot. And I can feel my fingers bumping over it now. Alright, I'm just finishing up here around his head, and then I'll have my background and my Father Francis all finished. Now, I certainly hope, at the end of every video I talk about saving these in a safe place. I certainly hope you and your families have these all saved somewhere, so that once we get to about spring break, not quite that long, we'll have them all finished and make a lovely alphabet book. And I know you guys know these letters already, but studying them again has helped us to be able to make sure we're writing them really well, and that we can pronounce them really quickly when we see them in words. Alright, my friends, there is Father Francis. I'm going to have him join my other pictures. I'll see you guys in a week. Bye-bye.